15 days after final selection, I was out front of the Ubershiki estate, and I saw a man with a straw hat with wisteria bells on them, and wearing a sun-patterned hori. "I'm here to deliver a sword for Yen Lin," he said. "Oh, that's me. It's a pleasure to meet you." I said, "I'm Hadazara Hanazura," I think that's how you say it, which is the person who gives the sword to Tanjiro, by the way. So, yeah. I made this sword myself with the ore you chose. He started, fudge. He said, sitting down and uncovering it. He started saying facts about the sword, and I was happy to listen to him. He turned to face me and wearing a hatakuruto mask. It surprised me at first. "Oh my, why aren't you beautiful?" he said. "Well, thank you," I chuckled out. "I have a good feeling about you. You know, nichirin swords are also known as color-changing katanas, so depend on the user, it will change color," he said. "Come on, open it. Let's see what color it may change to," he said, encouraging me to open it. "All right, here we go," I said, drawing my blade. I held it in the air, and it started changing color, and it turned the most beautiful color. Blue. Well, a light blue, I should say. I hate saying his name. Me and Hanuzuka took a moment to admire its beauty. "Wow, it's so pretty," I said. Hatsunuka was strangely quiet. Then he started cheering. "This has been the most beautiful color I've seen a sword change to. It even more amazing than one of my own swords. Woohoo!" He celebrated and hugged me. I hugged back and slightly giggled. "Your sword is so pretty, Oni-san," Karaka said. "Thanks, Karaka-kun. I'm really excited to start my mission," I said, putting my hori and strapped in my sword. By the way, you have technically a blue hori, but if you don't like it, well, it's on screen, but if you don't like it, you can change it. "Oni-san, you'll have to be careful, right? And you'll write to me, right?" Karaka had asking, all worried, as I walked towards the door. I turned and patted his head. "Of course. I'll be very careful, and I'll make sure to write. You don't have to worry about me, okay?" Yin, I turned to see Mrs. Ubershiki, and I turned to her and bowed. "Hello, Miss Ubershiki. I am currently about to go out on my first mission," I told her, still bowing. "Please stand, Yin," she said. I do as she says. She looks at me and fixes my hair and collar on my uniform. We both look into her eyes. She smiles, and I smile back. "Your parents would be so proud of you. Me and my husband are very proud of you as well. Good luck, Yin. I have faith that you will be fine, Yin," she said. "Thank you for everything. Also, send my thanks to Mr. Ubershiki. I'll miss you all greatly," I said, and then walking towards the open door. "Goodbye, Yin," she said to me. "Goodbye, Oni-san," Karika said. I waved goodbye and walked out. I was walking towards the town and where my mission was. I got there early. It was high noon, so nightfall wouldn't be for a while. I looked around the small town. I looked around the small town. It reminded me so much of my old village. A sad smile came upon my face. I missed my village and the people who lived there, including my parents, greatly. But besides that, I was getting a lot of attention. I thought it might have been my attire, so I got a little embarrassed. No one's POV. Despite that, you were thinking, you aren't getting a lot of attention because of your attire. You're getting a lot of attention because of how beautiful you were. Some people couldn't believe their eyes. Your POV. It was soon going to be dark, and I needed energy, so I found a small restaurant and decided to go in it. When the bell rang, I heard Sorry, we're closed, a man said. I bowed quickly and said, oh, my apologies. I'll find somewhere else to go eat. As I was about to leave, the man yells, Actually, we don't close just yet. Take a seat, and I'll get you something to eat, the man said, and I smiled and sat down on a stool. The man came out with some ramen, and I happily slurped on the ramen. Soon I was finished and thanked the man for the meal. I left, and it was dark. I grabbed my sword because I felt perceptive. It was nearby, and I followed it. My, aren't you a pretty thing? I heard a voice, and it was behind me, but I didn't want to let it know I knew it was there. I almost feel bad about what I'm going to do to you. Then I heard running, and I turned around prepared to attack. Total concentration. Angel breathing, third form, in halo rings. You quickly said a prayer as the demon fell to the floor. Then your crow appeared, and she told you about your next mission, but it would be a conjoined mission with Tanjiro. I will be seeing a friend. My crow told me to meet Tanjiro in a city called Asinuke, I think. I got there really late at night. It was so bright and lively. It fascinated me, and it was exciting. I felt a familiar presence. I followed it and saw Tanjiro, but he didn't look happy. He looked as if he was about to pass out. Tanjiro-kun? I yelled, and he turned and smiled at me. Yin-chan! He yelled back, and I ran up to hug him. I haven't seen you since finals election. How have you been? I asked. I've been doing great, he said. Then I noticed how pale and ill he looked. Are you sure? You're awfully pale, and you look like if any moment you're about to pass out, I asked, concerned. Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just not used to big cities. I knew he grew up in a small village in the mountains, he said. Then I noticed a sleeping girl next to him wearing somewhat of a bamboo muzzle. Tanju? Who might this be? I asked, looking at the girl. There was something about her. She was giving off a weird vibe. Oh, this is my sister Nezuko, Tanjiro said. His sister woke up and looked at me. I smiled at her and she patted my head, to which I giggled. Tanjiro wasn't feeling too good, so we went to a secluded area where a lone udon cart stood. There was also a bench. Tanjiro ordered a bowl of udon. I wasn't so hungry, so I didn't order anything. Tanjiro-kun, your sister, perhaps a demon? I asked, 'cause I could faintly feel the demon vibe. Yeah, vibe. She was giving off. Tanjiro slightly choked on his food and stared at me for a couple seconds. Yeah, she is, but she hasn't eaten or even bitten anyone, I swear. She's the reason I became a demon slayer, so I could find her a cure to turn her back into a human. So don't be afraid. She won't hurt any human, Tanjiro said. I patted his shoulder. It's okay. No need to freak out. I just was curious, finding also a cure to turn a demon back into a human. That's amazing. Just imagine how many people you'll be helping. Don't worry, my lips are sealed. I completely understand why you would want to protect your sister, I said, happily smiling at him and his sister. Out of nowhere, I felt an intense presence, and Tanjiro dropped his bowl of oidon. We both looked at each other and started running towards the being leaving the presence. I accidentally got cut by something sharp, and there was a bit of blood running down my cheek. But I kept running, not wanting to lose the being giving off a violent presence. I saw a person leaving the presence. I grabbed his shoulder, and he turned around to look at me. His eyes widened when his eyes landed on me. His eyes in percent, I knew exactly who I was looking at. It was the first demon to ever exist. and the only one who can turn humans into demons. The Demon King himself. I almost said Michael Jackson. Muzan Kiputsuchi. Tanjiro caught up, and as we both went to grab our swords, but then we heard a little girl's voice say, "Daddy?" And we see a girl in his arms looking at both of us, asking who we were. In an instant, I realized he was pretending to be a human. Then a woman came up and asked him what was going on. The woman and the child were completely human, so there was no possible way this could actually be his family. Muzan looked at me, just stared at me for a few seconds, but the stare was giving me a very intense. But he was focusing on my cheek, which was still leaking blood and falling onto the floor. He seemed to snap out of his trance when was in and asked, "Is there something I can help you with?" I was still to such a state of shock. I couldn't form any words. I just was quiet, stood there thinking, what should I do? Then, as a couple were passing by, Muzan just quickly scraped the man's neck. He did it so fast, only me and Tanjiro saw it. The man started attacking the woman he was with. "Stop!" I yelled as I pushed past Muzan and the woman. Tanjiro only followed to help. He grabbed the man as I pulled the woman away and applied pressure to her wound. I grabbed my bandages and tried to cover it up as fast as I could. The police came over and tried to pry Tanjiro off the man. The police didn't know he was a demon now. But even if we said he was a demon, they wouldn't believe us. The Demon Slayer Corps is an organization hidden from the government. I tried to help Tanjiro by trying to get the police away from him. Unfortunately, Muzan was getting away. But we couldn't just let this man hurt any more innocent people. Muzan's POV. I was walking through the city with my daughter, of course, his fake daughter, in my arms. Then I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to see who touched me and felt every part of my body have an electric feeling going through it. I saw a woman with gorgeous hair-colored hair, with eye-colored eyes that shine like jewels, and smooth skin-colored skin. She was the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my entire life. There was a small cut on her cheek and some blood dripping out. The smell of her blood, it was so intoxicating. I could only imagine what it tastes like. So, was I looking at a goddess? I could feel the saliva building up in my mouth. A boy caught up with her, and I noticed that both of them had swords. They were demon slayers. How infuriating. I cut a man's neck, letting a bit of my blood go into him, turning him into a demon. The girl then ran past me and helped the woman from the man. I turned into a demon. The boy soon followed suit. His scarf came down, and I saw he had Hanafu earrings. I walked away with my wife, again, fake wife, and daughter. All the while, the boy with the earrings was yelling how he was going to kill me. Pathetic. As I walked away, I had one thought. That woman, she's the most perfect person I've seen. Everything about her was perfect. I need her. I must have her. I need to taste her blood most of all. I've never smelled blood so intoxicating. I'll make her mine and have her as my demon queen. I'll get her no matter what. She will be mine. She doesn't have a choice. Your POV. As a cop was about to hit me and Tanjiro with a baton, flowers started flying around us, covering us. It was beautiful and it smelled delightful. A woman with purple eyes and a boy with mint green hair came into view. She was a demon, but she said she was also a doctor, and somebody who also desired to destroy Muzan Kibutsuji.